I don't want to indicate, to everyone, if you become a mentor, it's like getting a turtle that lives forever, right?
Have you ever seen our monster truck? Every time we take that thing out, the kids' eyes light.
Yes.
I've had people track me down literally while driving it going, do you mind taking my kid for a ride? What type of feedback do you get?
That it has been the most impactful experience of their life. And if they weren't currently involved with the organization, they were trying to work themselves back.
Sorry, you got me going now. This is a great podcast.
You're leaving this podcast with a whole list of things to do.
I know. I got my Hey everyone, we're back with the Murfreesboro.com podcast today. And I say this a lot, but I'm really excited about having Miss Melissa over here on as a guest today, because we've done a lot of these podcasts, and it's a lot of fun. For one, we enjoy meeting new people, but having people in here such as yourself, which we'll get into in a second, that you make an impact on a lot of lives, and you help a lot of people, especially kids, and so which we're about to dive into. So thank you, Melissa, for coming on. You are the president. Big Brothers, Big Sisters, right?
That's right. Chief Executive Officer for Big Brothers, Big Sisters in Middle Tennessee.
Head honcho.
I am.
Ooh, all right. And you took time out of your busy day to come over here in our little corner of the world.
How could I not come if you asked and invited?
Oh, well, that was nice. Thank you very much. Well, we appreciate you coming. But yeah, I know you all have a lot going on coming up, which we'll get to in a bit. But first, a little bit about you. So how did you become the president? Does Big Brothers, Big Sisters kind of recruit from within? How does that work? Or, because that's a big title.
They don't recruit from within.
Okay.
Actually, I'll share a little bit about myself, and I'm going to go a little further back.
Let's hear it.
I'm a Middle Tennessee native originally. Yep. I grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee, and I'm a Blue Raider.
There you go.
Graduated from MTSU, proud graduate.
Mm-hmm.
I spent most of my career in nonprofit.
Okay.
I had an opportunity to work with a nonprofit and learned that that's really what twirled my skirt. What really got me excited about doing things was finding ways to connect people, build relationships, and give back to the community. Okay. And so I've been fortunate to create a career in nonprofit. I was working, my husband and I moved to Asheville, North Carolina for 5 years. I worked for the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. It's a disease-specific organization, did a lot of great work. And it was time for me to move on to my next opportunity. That was really tough work to do. It's kids with brain tumors.
Yeah. How did you get involved in that to start?
I actually was recruited by somebody that I had worked with previously.
Okay.
I was working at the YMCA of Middle Tennessee at the time, and she had taken the CEO position with that organization and called and said, hey, I'm building out a new position and would love for you to join the team. Nice. And it was a great mission and a beautiful place to live. And so I said yes, and we picked up and moved to Asheville. I miss it regularly.
It's beautiful out there.
Oh my gosh. And every July when we have crazy humidity and all the mosquitoes, I'm like, why? Why are we back here?
Right.
But my parents still live in Clarksville. Our family is here, so we wanted to get back home. And I saw the position posted for Big Brothers Big Sisters, the CEO position for Middle Tennessee. And so I did a lot of homework first before I threw my hat in the ring. I talked to people that currently and previously worked for the organization. I talked to people who had been littles in the program, mentees, people who had been bigs in the program, people who had been board members, and really got to feel like, does this organization actually create impact? Is this a good program? And every single, this is not exaggeration. I'm not blowing smoke. Every single person I talked to talked about how being involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters was a life-changing experience for them.
I can imagine.
And if they weren't currently involved with the organization, they were trying to work themselves back. And so I thought, wow, that's something I really want to be a part of. Yeah. I'm also really passionate about, personally very passionate about youth development. That is our future. I know we say that a lot. It's kind of a catchphrase, but it's the truth. Yeah. And I believe we reap what we sow. And if we've not been pouring into our young people, then we're not going to have the leaders that we need for tomorrow. So went through the interview process and was really honored to be selected. I've been with the organization for 6.5 years now, and it has been a life-changing experience for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. So if anybody out there is unfamiliar with Big Brothers Big Sisters, can you kind of go touch on that and like the mission? And what
So our mission is to create professionally supported one-to-one mentoring relationships that ignite the power and promise of youth. And our vision is that all youth achieve their full potential. So we know every human being is born with endless potential, and we want to make sure that we provide opportunity and tools and skill development for young people so they can build the life that they want and really reach their potential.
Nice.
So we recruit, screen, and train volunteers to serve as mentors to young people. And our team takes a lot of time in putting those two together, the mentor and the mentee, the big and the little. We want to make a best bet match. So two people who are going to dig each other to build a relationship. So, like, I imagine that you're a pretty active guy. You're probably not sitting around playing video games a lot. So we wouldn't pair you with a young person who wants to do that.
I got you.
We want to match interest.
Yeah, I got you. Very cool. Okay, that must be quite the vetting process.
It is quite a vetting process, but we're putting an adult with a young person, and we want to keep all parties safe.
Yeah.
That's kind of a core tenet, is that we're building safe relationships, safe for everybody.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to a friend of mine named Brian. He did that a while ago, and he's very successful in life, very successful company, and has a lot of time. And so, but he went through this with you guys, and the little he got paired. I remember had a vision impairment, but they ran like 5Ks together, and he would hold his hand and stuff and guide him through it. And he documented the whole thing. He would take him to like Preds games and stuff, and so it was really cool to see that, especially him take the time to do this. And he was always posting. Those two were always together doing stuff. And this was probably, I don't know, a couple years ago, but I bet to this day, if I asked them, they probably still stay in touch. But it was just so cool to see that. I distinctly remember the video of them running across the finishing line at a 5K, and they're, but he's holding his hand, running with him. I was like, what a cool thing.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So what kind of things do they do together? Or like you said, is it you pair them together so if they like sports, they can go take them to a Preds game or whatever?
Absolutely. So we have quite a few different mentoring programs that fit the needs of both the young person and the adult. So their time and their interest. We do have a program called Sports Buddies. And as you might imagine, it's centered around sports. So the organization, Big Brothers Big Sisters, plans all the activities. A young person shows up, the adult mentor shows up, and they participate in an activity that is sport related. It might be going to a Preds game. It might be playing kickball. It could be going to a climbing gym. It could be touring Nissan Stadium and learning about all of the professions that are associated with professional sports. What we hear from a lot of our young people is like, hey, I want to be a professional athlete. I mean, who doesn't? But it's like 0.0001% of us that get to do that. But if you really dig pro sports, there are so many ways you can be involved. And part of what we want to do through our mentoring program is career exploration and exposure so that young people can see all the different options for a life that they can build for themselves. So you get together, you participate in that activity. It's a cohort model. So you're doing this with other matches. That's what we call the big and the little, other matches. But then you've got time to go off in this space and build your individual relationship.
Well, we've been talking sports. So like, do you guys have relationships with like the Preds and the Titans and things like that?
We sure do.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
We have great relationships with them. The Predators have a program called Blue Line Buddies. It engages our law enforcement. And they give us tickets for the matches to go to the game. They have snacks and food and all the fun things. They get to spend time with law enforcement officers, which is fantastic because it's also building trust between law enforcement and young people, which is powerful. We've got a great relationship with the Titans. We actually have a board member who's the Shannon Myers. She's the chief financial officer for the Titans. She serves on our board of directors.
That's funny. I actually met her before.
Yeah, she's a great person.
In an event, but I remember her. Yeah.
And, she's a former big, too. She was a mentor in our e-mentoring program.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. You must have an incredibly rewarding job. That's got to be
absolutely. And I want to say something to you. You were really gracious in the introduction and sharing that I have a lot of impact. And actually, what we do is create opportunities for other people to have impact.
Modest. Okay.
No, not really. I mean, the lever for change is the volunteer mentor. That's who's creating the impact for young people. So it is. I mean, how incredible to have a job that allows us to engage and build community in that way.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love it. Now, I'm sure with everything are there any challenges you run into with something like this? Or?
Our most significant challenge is recruiting enough volunteers to serve as mentors.
Oh, yeah.
At any given time. We serve the 8 contiguous counties of Middle Tennessee.
Okay, got it.
And at any given time, we have 100 young people waiting on a mentor. Sometimes
Really?
kids wait up to 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And that really is not what we want.
Yeah.
So getting people to volunteer is our persistent and consistent challenge. And I'm glad I'm talking to a dude because you guys are the slowest to volunteer.
The guys are slow.
Absolutely.
Why is that? Do you know why?
We do know why. We've talked to a lot of men to figure out why that is. And there are a couple of things. One is the time commitment. They don't feel like they have the time. 2 is they're apprehensive about being one-on-one with a young person. Like, what do I do? What do I say?
Oh, yeah. What do I do with my hands?
Yep. And the third one that really kicks me in the gut is, and this is a consistent feedback that we get from men, is I don't have anything to offer, which is malarkey.
Yeah,
That's so not true.
Yeah.
Every human being has something to offer to another human being. And I honestly believe that we get our sense of self by what we have to offer other people. Like that's really what life is about, is like how we connect. We belong to each other. So how we can connect and pour into each other. So that's one of the reasons that we created the Sports Buddies program.
Okay.
So you don't need to worry, dude, about what you're going to do with a young person. We've got it. We got you covered. Like you're not alone. So there are other people. So if you start to feel awkward, there's somebody else that can come in and support you.
I got you.
And then we try to make it really clear, like just showing up, being present is what you have to offer.
Yeah, I got you. Well, when you said like showing up, like where do you meet? Where do you do stuff? Like, I mean, just.
A Preds game, a Titans game. We do have programs too where you can go to the young person's house, pick them up, and you go out in the community and do anything that you want to do together. Okay. You could go eat. You could grab a cup of coffee. You could go to an art museum. You could go to a park and walk and talk. We have a lot of free tickets and get access to things, Adventure Science Museum, other activities. And so this shouldn't be something that costs you money. Okay. Just your time is what we want you to invest.
I got you. What would you say to somebody watching or listening that what you just said earlier, like, I don't have enough time? And there's enough time in it. There's hours in the day.
There's hours in the day, and we have really flexible programming. So one of our programs is called e-mentoring, and I was actually a big sister in that program. Okay. So it's a 2-year commitment. It's for 2 school years. So they're junior and seniors in high school. It's a 2-year cohort model. You're matched with your young person. You do a lot of your interaction over a platform. It's a leadership development program. Gotcha. You're in person with your young person at the school 3 or 4 times a year. Okay. It can be more if you want to, but we want you to connect, about 3 times in person, face to face, because that's really how you help to establish a relationship. So everybody can go to school 6 times in 2 years. Yeah. And communicate via a platform. Everybody's got enough time to do that.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens after, like, is it when they turn 18? Is it the program? Oh, how does that work? Like, what is it? Just keep going at their discretion, or?
That's a fantastic question, and it depends.
Okay.
One of the things that we teach both the mentor and the mentee, the big and the little, is healthy relationship closure. All relationships don't last forever.
Yeah, I got you.
There's a time and a season for your relationships with a lot of people, and so we go through a closure process when they've mutually decided, hey, we're going to end this. Yeah. Sometimes it's when they graduate from high school, and they're 18, and yes, then we're not providing service on the other side as big brothers, big sisters for them. So that match would close, and we bring everybody together and we celebrate what each person learned and how they grew together. Yeah. And then if they want to keep in touch with each other, just like your friend, they absolutely can. They're just not actively engaged in the program. Okay. Now, we have historically served young people up to the age of 18, but what we want, our vision, is for young folks to launch successfully into adulthood. Yeah. We've all graduated high school. We've all been 18. That transition is pretty tricky. Yeah. And so we thought, why did we say, hey, peace out, good luck? Yeah. We should be leaning into that space and helping young people navigate that time. So we've launched a program at Tennessee State University and Nashville State Community College, where we're mentoring primarily first-generation college students. So we're in a pilot program with that right now. I also want to tell you something, actually not just you, but all your listeners.
All right.
Do have another opportunity. We have some one-off mentoring opportunities. So we create micro mentoring sessions where we bring cohorts of high school students or college students together around a particular topic. It might be interviewing skills or creating your resume or learning how to network. And people can come in and just mentor for a couple of hours.
That's cool.
Bring them in a room. We usually share a meal because bonding happens over food. That's good community building. So that's an opportunity as well.
Okay. That'd be fun. I've done similar things like that myself.
I'll keep you on the list.
Oh, feel free. I enjoy that sort of stuff, especially it never ceases to amaze me some of the questions that kids will come up with. Or you think you're prepared and they hit you with a curveball and you're like, that just came from a 15-year-old kid or something.
Without question.
Yeah, and you're like, you're a lot smarter than,
You might be smarter than me.
I was like, hold on, can you teach me something? Yeah, but that's, so, but kids are, and they're a lot of fun too. They can be funny, some of the questions, but yeah, so so that's the biggest, you said, challenge is the volunteering part.
Absolutely, without question.
How can people get involved or how can they get more information about it?
Go to mentorakid.org, mentorakid.org, and folks can learn more about our program, do some research, see what types of programs we have. And what our team tries to do is really learn who you are, what you have, what your interests are, what your time commitment is, and we'll guide you to the best program that fits you. We can also start with smaller steps where we get you connected in a one-off mentoring opportunity, other volunteer opportunities with the organization, so you're not diving right in and making a big commitment if you're not yet ready.
I gotcha. What type of feedback do you get from the volunteers?
That it has been the most impactful experience of their life, that they feel like they have learned more than their little did.
No way.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah?
Yep.
Do you know if a lot of them stay in touch? Or?
Yes, they do.
They do?
They do.
That's great.
In fact, we have one of our longtime big brothers, he and his little brother, who is now... I think he's 45.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
Yeah, and they're still tight. They're still in touch.
That's great, though.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
But I want to say that's really relationship specific.
Well,
I don't want to indicate, to everyone, if you become a mentor, it's like getting a turtle that lives forever, right? It's really
95 years old.
It's your choice. Like if it fits for you to continue that relationship, fantastic, but it's not an expectation. You and your young person will determine if that's a good fit for you guys.
Well, that's good to hear, though, that people are developing these lifelong relationships, and who knows where they could go.
Absolutely.
So, but that's just wonderful. But flipping the coin, what type of feedback do you hear from the littles that go through that?
This is interesting. I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday. It depends on when we ask them. At what age and what stage they're in.
Makes sense.
So that they'll say, we just had a young man that we matched who wanted a big brother because he's lonely.
Okay.
That's not uncommon for us to hear.
Okay.
So the feedback that we get from our young people is that somebody's listened to them, that they've had a safe place, that they feel heard and listened to. And what we know from, we track, we're evidence-based. So we see how productive the relationship has been. And what we know from our research and our tracking is that young people who are mentored perform better in school. They improve the relationships with their family and friends. They are more likely to volunteer and serve in leadership positions.
Cool.
They have better emotional regulation and self-control. They avoid risky behavior. It's really powerful. And at the beginning of each of our mentoring relationships, the young person sets goals for themselves. So it might be, I want to be more adventurous. I want to improve my relationship with my mom. I want to perform better in school. Whatever that goal is, the mentor is there to help coach and guide them towards that goal.
Now, as a mentor, I'm just curious because I know the way I personally work. And I'm just thinking, like you had said, like the little, when they make their goals and they say, I want to build a better relationship with my mom. My thought would be, cool, let's go to dinner. Let's bring your mom. can you do things like that?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Or the I want to do better in school. Like I'm going to sit right next to you during math class, and we're going to go over this.
No, I'm not going to say you can do that. I'm going to leave that up to the school. But what you can do is say, hey, let's do homework together.
Yeah.
Or let's create a spreadsheet where we're tracking your grades or whatever is a fit for you. Yeah.
Is there different types? You just have to excuse me. I haven't gone through this program, so a little naive. But just again, thinking how I work, like if the kid did, I'm just going to say, like if the kid did something dumb or stupid, whatever, it'd be like, what the heck's wrong with you? You don't do that. Like, or is there certain guidelines and different structured programs? How does that work? Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm asking this right.
Like how you give feedback on a decision that they've made. Yeah. So we have a lot of training programs that can coach you through how to get feedback. Yeah. And you can kind of, knowing the young person, some of us respond to a carrot, some of us respond to a stick. It just depends. So really getting to know that young person and what motivates them and how do they best receive feedback and where are they? Like, if you're not feeling good about yourself, then you're probably not going to receive feedback in that way. But if you're, it might be that you sit down and say, hey, let's talk through why you made that decision and what the outcome was and what would another decision be and what outcome did you want to have and did your action lead to that outcome? So you're creating learn from this and mistakes that's where you learn. That's the purpose of mistakes. Totally. So you can really start to reframe it too. You've probably seen this in a lot of adults where we've evolved in the way that we think about emotional intelligence and the way we treat each other and recognizing that you don't need to feel bad about making a mistake, but what you do need to do is step back and evaluate it and learn from it. And so then, by having that conversation with a young person, you're creating, like you're building that skill set in them that they're not going to be like, hey, I don't have to beat myself up over making a mistake. I just need to learn from it.
Yeah. I was always told, fall forward.
Yes.
And so if you make a mistake, fall down, okay, get back up, look at it. What'd you do wrong? What'd you learn from it? Make sure we don't do that again.
Yes.
And then just keep going.
And you may do it again. I have made several of the same mistakes.
That could happen.
But give yourself grace too, right?
That's right.
If nobody died, we can step back and evaluate
it. That's right.
Nobody's bleeding. Nobody died.
Or what is it? Broken, bruised, and bleeding.
Yes.
The 3 Bs or whatever it was. That's awesome. So, did we already ask about the website, how people can get involved? We did,
Mentorakid.org. We did, but let's say it again. Mentorakid.org.
That's right. Now, I'm curious, just from you personally, do you have like a favorite success story that stands out in your brain?
There's so many success stories.
I know you've seen so many, but
do you know we have a breakfast every year. It's a fundraising event for us, and it's an opportunity for us to highlight the relationships and the young people and the community building that we're doing together. And there is a pair that's been together for a long time, Brian Donnelly and Drew Martin, and Drew was sharing at our breakfast that Brian really taught him that he could want more for himself.
Okay.
And how important school was, and that performing well in school would create opportunities for him and open doors. And so Drew became the first person in his family to go to college. He graduated from high school with exceptional grades, went to college. He now works for Enterprise. He supervises tons of people. He's a dad of 2 twins. He has this beautiful life, and he's a fantastic human being. And the opportunities that he created for himself, his big guided him in that, and really, and that what we're trying to do is empower our young people, right? Like you're driving your future. There are all these things you can't control, but what you can control is you. So how are you going to control yourself? How are you going to evaluate your opportunities? How are you going to show up as your best self? And then the other thing we really want to do, and this is, I think the Drew and Brian relationship illustrates this well, is social capital. So I've never gotten a single job in my whole life without knowing somebody. Like I had to show up and I had to perform well and I had to have the skill set and the knowledge, but I got in the door because of a relationship that I had. And so that's part of what we're trying to do for our young people too, is expand the number of relationships that they have. So not just with their big, but also with all the other people in our network. We just had a study released by Harvard on Big Brothers Big Sisters of America about the economic impact of mentoring in our programs. And young people who are mentored have a 15 to 20% higher income than those young people who are not mentored.
Nice.
And the young people's income aligns more closely with their big than it does with their family.
No way.
Yeah. And that's part of what we're trying to do is break cycles.
Because that's a big stat, right? If I remember correctly, isn't it like 80% of kids follow the parents' financial steps or something in that, something like that? So they more align with their big?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. To every dollar invested in mentoring, there's a $3 return back to the community.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's powerful, right? I mean, we're investing in each other, and when we invest in each other, big things happen.
Okay. Well, just kind of with that thought, like, where do you see Big Brothers in 5 years? Like, moving down, like, the stuff you're doing sounds really amazing, and your impact in the community goes far beyond what I thought we were, sorry, that just kind of blows my mind. For every dollar, there's three. I'm thinking about my buddy Brian and all the stuff he did with his guy.
Absolutely.
And, all that stuff. So just that one, example.
Just that one relationship.
Yeah. And you guys have probably millions, I'm sure. So,
and you think about the ripple effect too, because you probably don't remember your buddy Brian's little's name, but whatever.
I don't. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But whatever that young person's name is, think about, because Brian poured into him, all the people that kid's going to touch, right? And how that changes. It's just like the work that you're doing through your nonprofit. Like, you touch one person, you invest in them, and then they in turn go invest. You're sparking. You're inspiring. You're creating opportunities for other people to follow suit. And that's what's happening through the mentoring relationship. It's like we're pouring into one person who then touches all these other people.
Yeah.
And then they touch other people, and they, it is a positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
So in 5 years, we'll be on more college campuses.
Okay.
We'll be in more schools. We'll be mentoring more young people. You know, if we were like a disease nonprofit, like we were trying to fight cancer, then I would say in 5 years we're closer to putting ourselves out of business and ending cancer. But mentoring is something that we always need.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing too, John, that we're really working on is, at first you're the mentee, and then you're the mentor. And I have mentors. I mentor people, and I am mentored by people. So it's a life skill that I think we should all have. And since, I repeat myself often, but something I say is that, since the dawn of man, the older generation has been pouring into the younger generation. So this is a skill set that we all need. This is part of community building. And I think we could all agree that we need more community building right now.
Totally.
We need more
100%.
face time together. The Surgeon General last year shared that we have a nationwide epidemic of loneliness. That a lot of people don't have meaningful relationships in their life. So these mentoring relationships are win-win-win. It's good for the young person. It's good for the adult. It's good for the community. And I also want to share too, there are a lot of people involved in the relationship. So it's the young person, their family, the mentor, and the agency. So we want to be partners to the parent.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. So you said you wanted to be in more college campuses. You mean more college kids as mentors, or
both?
Oh, okay.
So we do have a college big program where college students are mentoring high school and middle school students, which is really important. There's a lot of research on near peer mentoring, where you're closer in age.
I was about to ask. Okay,
but we want to. Most of the young people that are participating in our program as littles, they may be first-gen high school graduates, and certainly most often first-gen college attendees if they choose to attend college. And that's not the only path to success. There's a recent study I read that 72% of the jobs are going to require some type of post-secondary training. So be that a trade school, a certificate, a 2 or 4 year institution. And so we want to expose the littles to people who are doing that. So you can
Nice.
see what it looks like.
Yeah.
And hopefully people that look like them so
Yeah.
they can see themselves in that space.
Very cool. I was curious, you got any, we know we mentioned sports and Titans and Predators and stuff. You got any companies in Nashville you want to give a shout out to or anything that you work with that, like, I think I've seen Lee Company do things like that, for example, and they're training these young kids on how to weld, which I think is awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'm like, you teaching these kids how to weld? That's cool as hell, you know?
And,
But-
we have a shortage of tradespeople in our country. So, again, this is a
Exactly.
win-win-win,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
young person, that's an incredible career.
Yeah.
And so you're giving this young person this great opportunity, which then is supporting the community because,
Yeah.
we need infrastructure.
Yeah.
We don't have enough people to do it. We have so many great partners, and I'm kind of hesitant to name anybody because
Okay,
I don't want
you
to
don't
leave
have to
them
if you
out,
don't want to.
but I'll share a couple.
Okay.
Pinnacle Bank.
Oh,
has
yeah?
been,
Okay.
They're our bank, and they're also great partners. Ascend Federal Credit Union.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Advanced Financial, the Titans, the Predators, NES. So many great companies
Okay, very cool.
that are engaged with
Yeah.
us.
Well, thanks to all them. That's great. That's wonderful. So, I'm just curious, like, if you could get a message out there to people that may not understand the whole mentorship and the impact that it has, what would you tell somebody? Let's get a little deep in there.
Yeah. Mentoring can change your life as a mentor.
Yeah.
We learn things better when we teach. And it's an opportunity for you to know yourself better and to understand how to build healthier relationships in your life.
Yeah.
A lot of the training that we provide for our mentors is specifically around building healthy, mutually respectful and productive relationships. And you can use those skills in every aspect of your life.
Okay.
I think it's one of the best things you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
Mentoring somebody else is an investment in you.
Yeah. And Jen and I were actually talking about this the other day, not too long ago, we showed you that video about our act of kindness and things that we do, but I swear I think we get more out of it than they do.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, like, giving back and pouring into somebody and seeing that effect on how their life is now better. I was like, I feel like I'm on top of the world. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I didn't do anything. They're the one
Yes.
doing it, but it's, I love that feeling. So I can only imagine how it feels with that.
It's addictive
Oh, yes. I will agree with that. Totally. 100%. So,
and in all the best ways.
yeah, right. Now, with that in mind, can you be a big to more than one little at a time, or is it one-on-one?
No, it's one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. For that time span that you were
That's
talking
right.
about. Okay. Gotcha. But you can always come back.
Yeah.
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 That's okay. That's very cool. I love that. Now, what age? We know 18, but how young does it go?
About 9 is
Yeah.
our youngest.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have some 6 to 9-year-olds, but
Okay.
yeah.
These are just kids from all walks of life in the school system.
Absolutely,
Oh,
yeah.
very cool.
Yep.
Okay. Nice. Okay. Man, you get me all kinds of interested in this because now I'm thinking like I want to take some kids to a Preds game and like put them up in a box and
Yes.
stuff they've never done before, or
Absolutely.
maybe not have the opportunity to.
Yes.
And because we know lots of people have boxes and it would be like, oh, come on, bring them in, and that would just
Let me
imagine
know.
little kids just lighting up like, oh my God.
Absolutely. And that's you've gotten the intent behind this is
Yeah.
creating new experiences,
Yeah,
something that
exactly.
they've never done.
Yep.
So they can start to imagine how big their life
Yeah.
can be. I mean, we really want everyone to have the biggest life
Yeah,
we can
right.
have. And that's part of doing
Yeah.
that.
Well, speaking of, I don't know, have you ever seen our monster truck?
No.
We have a monster truck. We got it as a joke for advertising. We wrapped it with a company name on it.
That's amazing.
But it's a giant truck. And everywhere we go, kids.
Does it get like a mile to the gallon?
It's about 6 miles because we actually disengaged the 4-wheel drive and disconnected all that stuff in the front. So it's only 2-wheel drive in the back. Everybody always asks me, "You can take that thing mudding?" No, I don't. So because the gas mileage is horrible, but the tires are not that big; they're huge. Anyways, every time we take that thing out, the kids' eyes light.
Yes.
I've had people track me down literally while driving it, going, "Do you mind taking my kid for a ride?" I'm like, "Sure, let's go," but. taking kids for rides and that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another to share with your listeners. If you have great experiences that you could provide to young people, reach out to us too. Like, a game or a box or a concert or monster trucks or whatever. Like, reach out to us. And, we have a lot of people and corporations and entities that engage with us in that way. So they're providing opportunities for free experience for our matches to participate in.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet, like Ascend Amphitheater.
Yes.
Yep. That just one popped in the brain. I'm sure they do. Good job, Ascend. I like that. That's very cool. Awesome. Well, man, I'm all motivated now. You got me all. I'm sure everybody else is out there too. Let's go do something. But I just want to ask you one more personal. We talked about Big Brothers Big Sisters in 5 to 10 years. Where do you see you with Big Brothers and Big Sisters in 5 to 10 years? Still going?
Still going, leading the charge.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This one, you're too passionate about this one.
Absolutely. This is, I say this is my opportunity to make this world a better place. Mm-hmm. I'm humbled and I truly mean that, to be able to lead a group of incredible professionals that create opportunity to build relationships and community. Yeah. I mean, duh. Like, why who would not want to do that?
Yeah. We need to come in, and even if we're just following one of your, if this is allowed, but like follow one of your bigs and littles for a day or something, and just and we talk to them and get together, maybe do a little video or something on it, but and show people like firsthand. Like, us is talking one thing, but they're like, hey, this is what what you're doing.
Yes.
And look at this kid, and we talk to him, things like. I think that'd be really cool to show.
Let's do it.
All right.
We'd love to do that.
We'll do that. So that'd be cool. I would love to do that. All right. So, dang, sorry. I'm all fine. Sorry, you got me going now. This is a great podcast.
You're leaving this podcast with a whole list of things to do.
I know. I got all my points. I've been taking notes as you've been talking, so that's cool. But cool. Well, I appreciate your time coming out here. I don't want to take. I know you got a lunch meeting coming up and everything, but before we close out, is there anything for our viewers and listeners you want to throw out again about the website or volunteering? How they can get more info? How they can get involved? Anything? Just throw it on out.
Yep. We are, I think we referenced this at the outset of our chat, but we're entering Match Madness to align with March Madness, followed by the big draft, which will be with the NFL draft. We have a great relationship with the NFL as well. So I would say to your listeners, check out the website at mentorakid.org. If this at all interests you, reach out to us. There's some way for you to plug in and engage in a way that works best for you. And it will be the most impactful experience of your life. Don't wait to do something good for somebody else.
Yeah. I want to see if I can get my friend Brian, talk to him about it.
Yes.
Well, the thing with him is he travels all over the world for what he does. I mean, literally every other day he's in a different country. But I'll see if I can reach out to him.
It'd be great for him to share his experience.
Yeah, because it was really cool. Honestly, it was cool to watch. I actually enjoyed watching his updates. Especially, hey, we're out here today, and they're running. Yeah, it was really cool. So, So, anyways, all right. So, mentorakid.org.
Mentorakid.org.
All right. Okay. Cool. Well, for everybody watching, listening, appreciate you tuning in as always, and stay tuned. We're going to do something. We'll do some cool updates on this. But yeah, y'all know the drill. If you got any questions on anything, please put them in the comments, and we can address those later. But other than that, thanks again for coming in.
Thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. This was great. And for all you out there, see you on the next one.